What up, y'all? It's your boy, Mark, here with a video. As you can see in the title, today we're going to be talking about LeBron James' decision. It's finally over. I'm just here to give my thoughts a little bit, give my thoughts about the situation. LeBron James has decided to sign with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal, the second of those being a player option. It's crazy, man. I didn't expect LeBron James to go to Philly. A lot of people I was talking to also didn't expect him to go to Philly. It's kind of not that they weren't in the running, but it kind of came out of nowhere. There was a lot of reports about the Miami Heat and the Cavaliers being the 1 and 2 option in LeBron's decision. It it turns out to me, it seems like nobody really knew anything, and it was all just speculation in terms of you know, who was leading in LeBron's teams or what his list was looking like at the time. Let's start out with the teams actually that did miss out on LeBron James. I could make a whole video for most of these teams, but I'll keep it brief. The Heat, they seemed like they were the front runners, honestly. It had gone back and forth, but as it ended up like later on, it seemed like the Heat were really in the driver's seat to get LeBron. We did have the whole social media team for the Heat, the LeBron James press conference thing. That was kind of interesting, I guess. That led a lot of people to think he was a Heat, and the Heat took over in the market. It would have been nice to get LeBron, obviously, but with Bam already being there, Giannis already being there, if you add LeBron on top of that, of course LeBron's a great player, but that fit was kind of weird. I think that probably went into LeBron James' decision a lot in terms of floor spacing and the guys around him in Miami. Not that that would have been a bad team, but definitely not the best option in my opinion. I'm not exactly sure what the Heat pivot to now. I know there was reports with them being linked to DeMar DeRozan and Russell Westbrook if they missed out on LeBron. Not sure those guys really help your spacing, but hey, if that's what they want to do, you can trust in Pat Riley, I guess. Eric Spoelstra can always make things work. The Golden State Warriors. I've been seeing reports recently come out saying that the Warriors were LeBron's second team in terms of like what he was thinking. It was between Philly and Golden State at the end, and he decided to go with Philly at like 1 a.m. in the morning. Golden State has continuously just failed and failed Steph Curry over and over again. Post Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, all them guys, post that Warriors era. I know they did win a championship in this decade, 2022, I believe, but they're lucky they got that one. That was a great run, great performance by Steph Curry, but it feels like they've been constantly in the mix for these superstar guys, whether it be LeBron James, Giannis, etc. And they keep missing out. I'm not exactly sure if they really just haven't been able to get things done or if it's more so that they've just been hesitant to trade away picks and assets for the future. I don't understand that way of thinking. Steph Curry's a once in a generation player for your franchise, and not being willing to leverage future assets for the now when he's proven he can win with players around him, to me is crazy. It wouldn't be that crazy if Steph hadn't shown that if you just put a competent team around him, he can compete for a championship. Really, Golden State deserves their own video about how they failed Steph Curry, but just to keep it short, the failure continues, and free Steph at this point. Just free Steph. Moving on to the last team that was really into the mix, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know a lot of Cavs fans. Shout out to my boy Nate Scott. They were really disappointed to hear this news, and it's understandable. If you think about it, it's just you missed out on what could have been a perfect storybook ending. If I had to guess, I would imagine the reason LeBron didn't join the Cavs simply came down to he didn't believe that team gave him the best chance to win a championship right now. The fit with James Harden and the uncertainty around, you know, just the Cavs in general. They've been a team that has consistently come up short in the postseason, disappointed compared to expectations. And I think that if LeBron would have went to the Cavs, a lot of the responsibility of creating for everyone on that team would have fallen on his shoulders. He would have been the guy that they look to in big moments to perform and come through. And not that they won't do that in Philly, but in Philly, you have four guys who you feel really confident in can score the ball night in, night out. Cleveland doesn't really have that. Donovan Mitchell obviously is a top tier scorer, and James Harden at this point in his career, that fit is just not good. James Harden at this point in his career, he can't develop into a good off ball player. He never has been a good off ball player. And if LeBron's on the team, what is James Harden doing when LeBron has the ball? If he's just going to stand in the corner or stand on the wing ready to catch and shoot, and he's also not going to provide defense for you, at that point it just becomes really redundant and pointless to have both of them on the same team. And you could say, well, let's let James Harden create and LeBron can play off ball. Do you want LeBron James or James Harden to have the ball in their hands late in game down the stretch when you need offense? I'll take LeBron James still. It does sting for Cavs fans missing out, especially considering that their whole offseason has kind of been on hold, waiting for LeBron James to make his decision. They haven't made many moves of note. Um, really, like there was a point in time where they possibly could have moved Evan Mobley for Giannis, and they also didn't do that. So swinging and striking out on Giannis, well, not even swinging, just not even trying, not even attempting to go get Giannis because you believe in Evan Mobley so much, and then striking out on LeBron James. Now, it sucks. I would say I feel bad for Cavs fans, but I don't. Sorry, it you didn't get LeBron for a third time. Sorry about that. I want to talk about Evan Mobley a little bit for the Cavs. They value him an insane amount. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. He's a, 23, 24-year-old DPOI, and you already got older by moving Darius Garland for James Harden. So getting older again by moving Evan Mobley for Giannis or Anthony Davis, while it might make you better on the Giannis side of things, and possibly Anthony Davis if he's healthy, it does move your timeline up to immediately right now. And I can understand why the Cavs have some hesitancy with that. I don't agree. I mean, I think that I would rather win a championship in the next 2 years and sacrifice, the next half decade if it means getting another ring in Cleveland. You just got to think, how many chances is Cleveland going to have at a championship? They're not a free agency destination. They're not a premier, you know, spot for that guys want to just go play. So if you have a chance to get LeBron James or Giannis, you do it. In my opinion, you do it. But this isn't a Cavs video. This is about LeBron James. I want to go through LeBron's comments because some of the stuff he said was interesting. I'll read a little bit of it here. I thought I was done when the season ended. I wasn't ready to announce it, and I knew I needed some time to really decide, but I was pretty sure I played my last game. I was honest at the last press conference when I said I needed to look at myself and decide if I still love this game. I still do truly love this game, and I have more to give. The last few weeks have been really special. I've never been able to have no clue what to do and take real time to just think. I've had an incredible few months with all the people I love trying to figure it all out. This is my last decision. I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete and win to have a chance at the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I am so excited to energize a new fan base and start with this incredible journey one last time. Thank you, LA, Miami, I'll forever love you, and Northeast Ohio will always be home. So, a couple of things I found interesting about this. Uh, he said that he really did consider or believe that he was going to retire or that was going to be his last game at the end of this last season. Whether or not you believe that, I don't know. I have a feeling that LeBron probably knew he was going to come back for the most part. I don't. I just don't see him wanting to end his career on the Lakers with a exit to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It just felt very anticlimactic for LeBron James. He has been on record saying he doesn't want a farewell tour, but back. I mean, let's be honest. It's LeBron James. He's going to get a farewell tour. Uh, Another thing I found interesting about this was he said, I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I want to work. I want to grind. Win a championship. A lot of people were thinking, he's going to stay in Golden State because it's close to family and his businesses. Or he's going to go to Miami because Savannah wants to go there. Or, XYZ, stay close to family, money, blah, blah, blah. He kind of shut all that up because he went to Philadelphia. He went to Philly, not some, you know, super high, market, super popular market. Not that Philly's not a popular market, but it's not Miami or LA or, one of those places, Golden State. He went to Philadelphia and he did it on a small contract, which is now the best contract in the entire NBA for the amount of production you're getting out of that $8 million. And it's crazy. I guess this does show LeBron really does believe that he can win a championship with the Sixers. And I guess that moves us right into his fit with the 76ers. So, for starters, the Sixers added Anthony Simons, Dean Wade, LeBaron Philon this offseason. And, those are good additions for sure. Those are good players. I think LeBron's fit on this team is perfect. I've seen a lot of people, kind of worried about the defensive side of things, which yeah, you can have your issues with that. But when you have this much talent on the team offensively, there's just always going to be the potential that you can just beat teams off that alone. A lot of teams. The defense, you will need to have a good defense, but if guys like VJ and Jalen Brown really lock in, and LeBron James as your fourth best defender in the starting lineup is not bad. I think his fit with Maxi is going to be great. Maxi has become somewhat of the offensive playmaker and hub in Philadelphia ever since James Harden left. And I think now he can go back to more of a role of just being a scorer. Not that he can't play make or won't. He definitely will help out with the playmaking, but it's not his main responsibility and his sole responsibility to get guys involved all game long and look for his own shot. LeBron James will handle most of that, and Tyrese Maxey can go back to doing what he does best, which is scoring the basketball efficiently. VJ Edgecombe, a young guy, athletic, he'll get out on the break, run the fast break for LeBron, getting a rebound, throwing it out, finding him in transition, finding him on backdoor cuts, lobs. I love the fit with him too. Jalen Brown, also a good fit. Jalen Brown's going to be a big part of this offense, especially in the regular season. And the two-man game with LeBron and Joel Embiid also could be really good. I think that in general, though, LeBron James hasn't necessarily played with a big like Joel Embiid. I know Anthony Davis was amazing in his time, but Anthony Davis was more of a pick and roll. Get it to him in the roll, let him work in the mid range area, throw him lobs and such. Joel Embiid is more of a dump it down on the block, let him work off of him. Not that Joel Embiid can't run pick and roll. He's gotten kind of slow. He's not really a lob threat anymore. So for the Sixers, even though the fit is great with LeBron James in the starting five, I would like to see them try to get an athletic backup big. I think a backup big is going to be really the make or break point for the 76ers. They kind of lack size. You don't want LeBron James and Joel Embiid in a series with Bam and Giannis. Not that they're not better than them, but I don't want Joel Embiid guarding Giannis or Bam and LeBron James picking up the other of those two for an entire series. That just seems like they would wear on them. It would take a lot of energy. So I'd like to see a good backup big. Ideally a backup big with size, who's athletic. Um, you know, Maybe even a four spacer. This is probably not possible, but a guy like Miles Turner would be an amazing fit with the 76ers. I don't know if they could get him. I don't know who they'll get. The free agency market's pretty dried up at this point. Maybe it's a midseason trade, but a backup big needs to be number one on the 76ers list of needs. You know, Other than that, though, that's a good problem to have. Only needing one thing like that and feeling pretty good about the rest of the roster is a place that a lot of teams wish they were in. The bench depth, it's not amazing. but at the same time, the top end talent in the starting five more than makes up for that, in my opinion. The expectations that I would have for the 76ers is that they're probably the second best team in the East as of now. You got to respect the Knicks and their championship and what they just did. They have a lot of bench depth. They're bringing back all their guys, so there's no reason to believe they won't still be at the top. But talent wise, I mean, this team matches up with anybody in the East. I will say, moments like these don't come around very often. I mean, it's pretty crazy the amount of hype and just interaction from NBA fans across this LeBron James decision has been wild to see. There's not another player in the league who has pull like this in terms of everybody waiting to see where they go, the schedule not even being made before they make their decision. So shout out to LeBron James, man. LeBron James is on Philly. He's on Philly, y'all. Can you believe that? LeBron James is a Philadelphia 76er. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, we'll see what they can do. We'll see what goes on with the Sixers, how far they can go. Let's see if LeBron can get another championship.